Are Spus and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome in. A wonderful Wednesday. Is the Big 12 watching? And according to a member of the Board of Trustees who's quoted in the Daily Memphian is saying they are watching to see what happens with stadium expansion. And, of course, the City Council is going to meet on December the 19th. It has been talked about that this thing needs to proceed as quickly as it possibly can. They've always cited that a lot of that has to do with rising costs for labor, for parts, for materials, for everything that would be needed for stadium expansion. But it could be that who knows what's going to happen with the continuance of conference expansion, because it is a fluid thing. It is not a finite thing, it seems. And who knows when the next round will be. But that was eye-opening when the statement was made that the Big 12 is watching to see what happens in this meeting. So I don't know that it's ever been more important for a stadium to get renovated and to be built. And look, other cities, I don't know if you saw this news. I'm sure that the city council is aware of what had occurred. But in Oak City yesterday, the voters voted, and they agreed to a 1% sales tax over the next few years to raise $600 million to keep the Thunder in Oak City. It's amazing how cities now are at the mercy of NBA owners or NFL owners. Look what's happening with the Bears in Chicago after they got Soldier Field totally renovated. Now they're going to move out to Arlington, where Arlington Park used to be. So this is not limited to a single city. It is not limited to a single owner, Robert Pera, who has seen, after he spent $330 million on the Grizz, see his asset go to $2.2 billion. He's never put a penny in that I know of. I think he borrowed most of the money from the bank to buy the team to begin with. He had to have partners. Ever since then, his wealth has grown to $19 billion. He's not offered a penny. But you think in Washington, D.C., Leonsis, is that his name? The owner of both the Wizards and the Capitals? He's moving his team from D.C., literally, I think it is 8 to 9 miles away. I Googled it this morning. To Alexandria, Virginia, where there is going to be an area that will house a stadium and a whole entertainment district. And I don't think he's paying for that. I think the city of Alexandria, Virginia is going to do that. So it is not singular, but it is happening all over the place where entities will aid billionaire owners into building their houses. And then, of course, the billionaire owners control the area. In the case of the Grizzlies, because that was part of the Smith-Graham plan, was that the Grizzlies will control Beale Street. You know, maybe that's the best property owner for the deal. It certainly seems to have worked in St. Louis with Ballpark Village. I'm trying to remember the other model that they're trying to. Maybe it's around Houston. I can't remember the other city that they have. Oh, it's Atlanta. Atlanta has built an entertainment district around the new ballpark. So maybe that's, it's certainly going to be a profit maker for the NBA team if they can control the entertainment district, that's for sure. But that's what's happened now in two different cities. While the world, or the Big 12 anyway, is sitting and watching and wondering what's going to happen with the stadium expansion. They will meet on the 19th. Remember, this was a delayed meeting from 2 weeks prior. I don't know if they'll vote that day for this to go through. But it's not just rising costs for construction now. It's also the eyes of the Big 12, apparently, according to the Board of Trustees, or at least a member, and this is reported in the Daily Memphian. They're watching to see what happens. So there could be significance with all of that. But by the way, in the meantime, we learned also in that story, good job by the reporter at the Daily Memphian, that the Tigers and Laird Veatch have already done their due diligence pertaining to contracts that are involving Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. In other words, I believe Laird Veatch has offered extensions of leases to the USFL team here, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl and Steve Earhart, and also to the Southern Heritage Classic. So things will continue with business at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. If this deal does go through, it would just be a change of ownership from the city to the University of Memphis. We got a busy show. We're going to talk to Jason Munz. The story yesterday, Naquan Tomlin, his mid-season departure from Kansas State. And, I did a little digging yesterday, talked to some folks in Manhattan, Kansas, and by all accounts, this is a good kid. This is a good kid who, unfortunately, had apparently 3 strikes against him early last summer. There was an issue with an agent. Then there was an issue with a girlfriend. That was strike 2. And the president of K-State basically stated that there was 2 strikes and that any further action would have consequences. And then he was involved in a fracas in a bar. I think it was called Aggieville in Manhattan. The video sort of shows that Naquan was really sort of an innocent guy in all of this. I think there is a pushback. He was provoked. He had left the bar, went back in because he left something. There was an issue with a bouncer. The video shows he probably should not have been charged in the first place, according to the police. But he was, but that was strike 3. And then the folks at Kansas State, the president in particular, was adamant. He said, no, that's it. You're done. Cited reasons why. 3rd strike, boom, not going to have him. By all other accounts, the coach, the AD, I think the general counsel were all saying he should not be forced to leave, but he was left out. That there was no choice. He's not played since last March when he had that great run to the Elite 8. So now he's a Tiger, and that will get us to Jason Munz. We got Brett Norsworthy following Jason. Ron Higgins will end our day as we always do, a busy Wednesday. Jason moved to today. He was flying back home on Monday from Aggie Land, not the bar, by the way, that was apparently involved with Tomlin. But it was a heck of a weekend for the U of M to win at Texas A&M, number 21 in the country, 13 in the net, and then to wind up with this particular recruit. He didn't go anywhere else, and the likes of everybody in the country that is anybody was after him. So that's quite a coup. Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal joins us, as usually he does on Mondays. I have to ask you this particular recruit, where would you rank it in the acquisition of penny players? And that could be anywhere from Precious Achua to Boogie Ellis to Kendrick Davis to the big guy.
Wiseman.
James Wiseman, thank you. Couldn't think of his name for a minute there. Where would you put this particular move? And by the way, Naquan Tomlin, how many years does he have left of eligibility?
So this is it. This is his last year of eligibility. He played 1 year at Monroe Junior College in New York, and then 2 seasons at Chipola in Florida, and then he played last year at K-State, obviously. So this is it.
Okay. So the COVID year is taken into account.
Yes. So
okay.
Whatever you get from him, you're gonna have to savor it, really quickly, because it's gonna be it. But that's such a tough question, because we have the luxury of hindsight with all those other players
Sure.
that he got, the Jalen Durans and the Lester Quinones.
Oh, I forgot about him, and I didn't mention Bates because I don't think that ended up good.
No, I would not mention Bates based on what his production here. But no, seriously, I mean, Kendrick Davis is far and away, to me, the best acquisition that Penny Hardaway has ever had. I mean, we're talking about a guy in Kendrick Davis who had one of the 3 or 4 best single season, like, individual years. Now, I know they didn't win an NCAA tournament game or anything like that, but, like, they won a conference championship and they beat the number 1 team in the country. And he himself as an individual had one of the 3 or 4 best individual seasons in program history. So I think he's got to be at number 1. And again, we have the benefit of hindsight. We don't know what Tomlin's going to do yet. So, but all that being said, you got to factor in, you know, there's the thing that the part about Naquan Tomlin that's really, really interesting is there's 2 things. You're adding him to a team that already has so many really, really nice pieces. David Jones, Javon Quinterly, Caleb Mills, Jaquan Walton. You know, he's coming into a really already strong situation, and not only that, but he's coming in mid-season. So, I mean, I guess we say mid-season. It's really only a third of the way through the season, but he's coming in midstream, and that has not happened since Penny has been here. Where Penny like is not shy about dragging people, adding people late in the process, but it's never been this late.
No.
So you know, for that reason, it's a bit more intriguing. For those 2 reasons, it's a bit more intriguing than some of these other ones may have been at first glance. But you know, it's got the potential to be one of his probably 3 or top 3.
Obviously, you know, what plays out will determine that. I have a hard time disputing you on KD, although you can make the argument as players have gone on that Precious Achiuwa turned out to be unbelievable because they really competed with him, and he would not have been the factor he was had James Wiseman continued to play.
Yep.
And you know, Jalen Duren has become almost a double-double machine at the NBA when healthy. And he was terrific for Memphis later in the year when he really kind of caught on to the level of play, just as he has in the NBA. So you got to put him down there for sure. Boogie Ellis is still playing college basketball and at a very high rate at USC. So he really was a very, very good recruit. Damian Ball played really good at TCU. He's had a lot of good recruits, but Davis was the one that has taken them the furthest. And if they call that timeout, if he hadn't gotten hurt, Lord knows how far this team might have gone to the Final Four, because that's where FAU ended up. We'll never know that. How far can this team go now? What does this kid mean in terms of advancement in the NCAA tournament? And with all the wins that Memphis has, that could become quad wins now. I'm talking A&M's a quad 1 as it is, but you know, you're talking about Arkansas could become a quad 1 win. Heck, even VCU on the road could become a quad 1 win in the end. I counted the potential for 8 quad 1 wins. With this addition, where can the ceiling really be put for this team now?
I think what I mean, I don't want to fall into a trap. You know, sometimes we fall into these traps where, you know, we all thought Jordan Brown was going to be a difference maker, right? And that didn't happen. A lot of people thought Amani Bates would be a difference maker. That didn't happen. So sometimes these things don't work out. But you feel a lot better about Naquan Tomlin than some of these other guys because, you know, Amani Bates, Jordan Brown, they didn't quite fit the system, the scheme. Penny Hardaway's the way Penny Hardaway likes to go about his business, the way he likes to his system, they didn't exactly fit, and that is not the case for Naquan Tomlin. Naquan Tomlin is a rim runner. He is a strong rim protector. He is incredibly athletic. He plays with a lot of emotion and a lot of energy. He plays very fast, very physical. He is a big man who can move and who can do a lot of different things. I think he attempted like 70 3-pointers at K-State last season, which he only made 27.5% of them. So that's not necessarily his strong suit. But this is a guy who's very versatile, and guys who are very versatile and very athletic tend to, like Exhibit A, David Jones, athletic and versatile, they tend to do very well under Penny Hardaway. And so if Memphis gets, the best Naquan Tomlin there is, well, to me, that raises the floor of this team. Like, I already thought this team was the second weekend team anyway. To me, adding Tomlin raises the floor to second weekend. And, the ceiling, who knows? But, I feel like, and I know the NCAA tournament's, it's predictable and it's matchup based and all that stuff, but you just at this point, by adding someone like Naquan Tomlin, you now have just such an abundance of overall talent, and not just like a ton of backcourt players or a ton of talented front court players. You've got a lot of different guys who could do a lot of different things. And those are the times. And again, they're very old. Tomlin, I think, is 22 or 23, so you're not getting any younger. Age, experience wins in the NCAA tournament.
And just physical maturation. They're men now. They're not 18-year-old kids coming in. You mentioned Jordan Brown. I'm going to get to him in a second, but I do want to ask you, how do you think Penny will use him? Is he a 5? Is he a 4? Is he even a 3?
I think that the bulk of Naquan Tomlin's time on the floor is going to be as sort of like a 3-4 hybrid. At least I think that's the ideal scenario for Memphis. Not going to say, that doesn't mean he's never going to play the 5. He's 6'10", 210 pounds. He like I said, he's a rim protector. He averaged 2 blocks per game in K-State's Elite 8 run last season. He's played down low at a very high level before, and so I think he's interchangeable, honestly, from the 3 to the 5. But I do think that, at least in the beginning, you might see him more away from the basket than close to the basket, at least on offense. He can guard, multiple positions, so you'll see him sort of, we know how Penny does defense. It's kind of positionless on defense a lot of the times, but from an offensive standpoint, I think they're going to at least try to give him some run at the 3, while also mixing him in at the 4 and the 5.
It is incredible to me, if he plays the 3, how big Memphis would be, because what is Quinerly, 6'1"? Isn't that what they list him at? Then you got David Jones at 6'6" playing the 2. You'd have a 6'10" 3. The 4 in this would probably, the way they've been starting, it would be Nicholas Jourdain. What do they list him at, 6'9"?
I believe so,
And then Malco is 6'10", right? So Malco's your center at 6'10". So you go 6'10", 6'9", 6'10", 6'6", 6'1". Off the bench, you've got big guys in Walton, who's 6'7", I think?
I believe so, yep.
And then you've got Caleb Mills, who's a big guard at 2, who comes off the bench. You got a littler guy, the only little guy in there that would be Young, who's your backup point guard for limited minutes, because Mills can play that, actually. And then think about it, you've got, I guess the other guy you would count in the rotation would be Ashton Hardaway, who's 6'8", and maybe Jaden, what is he, 6'6", 6'7", somewhere in there? Holy smokes, that is a big lineup.
They do, and I wrote about that before the season even started, just how long this team is, and you're losing. It remains to be seen officially, formally. It remains to be seen what's going to happen with Jordan Brown. But if it comes to pass that he is no longer a member of this team, then you're losing a 6'11" and plugging in a 6'10", somebody who's more athletic, somebody who I think has better vertical, can move better, all that stuff. So you're almost getting longer if you're trading those two out. So
well, you're getting definitely more athletic. So let's figure this out. Okay, let's talk Jordan Brown right now.
Yep.
The kid has nowhere to go. He cannot transfer to another school like
correct.
Naquan Tomlin could. He's the second highest NIL guy on the team from all that we hear. That means he's over six figures.
Mm-hmm.
Where's he going to go? He can go pro, I guess, but he's not going to make that kind of money. If he goes to the G League for half a year, you're talking about $20,000. He's not making six figures, that's for sure. What is his beef? What are his options? Do you know? And do you think he'll be back?
Yeah, I think we are getting very close to an official. I do want to say, like, take all this with a grain of salt, because we know how quickly things can change in Penny Hardaway's program. Okay, so I could say this now, and 10 minutes later, I could be proven wrong. But I think as we sit here right now, the likelihood of Jordan Brown being back at Memphis is pretty slim. And the reason why, I mean, I think honestly, when you step back and you look at the big picture, they just were compatible. Jordan Brown, his style of play, he's a traditional big, back to the basket guy. Penny Hardaway is not a coach who, he doesn't like to slow things down, and they don't fit. It was not a good fit. And I think Jordan Brown kind of saw the writing on the wall pretty quickly once Penny got back from his suspension that it wasn't going to work out. And so I think what you have is, Jordan Brown, trying to figure out what options he has beyond Memphis. I do think that Memphis would like to. There are some at Memphis who would like to keep Jordan Brown, even after adding Naquan Tomlin. But I just don't know if in the end Jordan Brown is going to be willing to stay, given everything that's happened in the last couple of days.
Well, it would seem to me to be cutting you off your nose to spite your face. I don't see what his options are.
I mean, I guess that may be, unless he's able to, work out some sort of deal to recoup, get the NIL money that he was owed. Who knows?
I don't know why any school would do that on a kid who quit, personally.
I agree. No, I agree. But maybe that's the holdup here, is they're trying to come to some sort of separation agreement. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I do know that the program publicly is saying that he is still part of the program, and that's as recent as late yesterday. So, I'm not sure that it's gonna. I don't believe it's gonna stay that way, but I've been wrong before.
Well, we will wait and see. Last thing, and then we got to go. Tomlin,
yep.
When does he play? When's the first time he suits up in a Memphis uni?
If I had to bet, I would say the soonest would be probably the Vanderbilt game on December 23rd. There's still some procedural things, some administrative things, paperwork, red tape, ink has to dry, I's and T's have to be dotted and crossed, those sorts of things. And so, but once all that gets done and he is, they can push the right buttons and he can be formally admitted to the university, then my understanding is he is eligible immediately. Could he play? Could he be eligible and play Saturday versus Clemson? Sure. I don't think that's the case.
Right. We should point this out because I know this for a fact. The great thing's it's all just procedures and details and paperwork, because he's already graduated. He walked the aisle. So that part's done. So all those things are going to transfer over. That's not an issue. But you got to still do the paperwork stuff and be admitted to the U of M, and that there is some time to that. Jason, as always, we truly appreciate it. I'll see you Saturday. Can't wait. FedEx Forum. What a game that one's going to be with Clemson.
Boy, yeah, it's starting to get fun.
It is. There is no even more fun now with this. That is for never a dull moment in the Penny Hardaway tenure of the University of Memphis. Thank you, my friend. That's Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studio. Don't forget, the Christmas sale continues. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas, and a whole lot more. They got the massage chairs if you're tired from shopping. Just please go to I-40 and Whidden Road. See what I'm talking about. Great sale prices in a beautiful building. That is Family Leisure. And our title sponsor, it's Genesis of Olive Branch, right in Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Craft Road, first exit in Mississippi on Highway 78. That's Lamar. Real quick. They've done a lot of work there. You get there quick, turn left, and then go. If you're after a Genesis, go see Vinny Gerard. He's over the Genesis cars, and he's got deals on the GV70, the GV80. Those are the SUVs with all the new technology and incentives on financing. My goodness, you'll love what you hear at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We take a quick time out. To Forest City we go. We'll get the word what our friend Brett Norsworthy thinks about this stuff with the Big 12. We'll talk some SEC and Ole Miss with Brett when we return.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now, and the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Fill your game day cooler with the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Smooth, real brewed tea with a 5% kick of alcohol. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
To Forest City we go. You listen to him every day. You have for years, 3 to 6 sports time on Sports 56. His buddy is Brian Dacus, but he's the man. He is Brett Norsworthy. Stats. Have you seen the story in the Daily Memphian today about the Big 12 is watching what will happen when the city council meets on December the 19th? I guess my question, very broad to you, is do you think, and we all know conference expansion is a fluid thing, never a finite thing, or at least history has shown that. You think the Big 12 is ready to pull the trigger on something this soon? Good morning.
I think they could be. Good morning, Dave. I think they could be, and I think they were set to do it last summer until the disintegration of the Pac-12. I don't think Brett Yormark saw that coming, and he is very pro-basketball. That is one of his big background points. He started as an agent, was in the NBA. He's got a lot of friends here in the NBA, and he was in town last summer, and it was building to critical mass. I would have bet a significant sum of money that the Tigers were going to be invited into the Big 12 last summer by August 1st, but late July. I don't know how next summer can be quite the tidal wave that last summer was in conference realignment. But there's going to be stuff going on because everybody's positioning for the future when we get down to about 80 teams really playing at a high level in college football. And we're boiling down to that. There are going to be people thrown overboard. There are going to be bowls thrown overboard. The market is getting ready to speak.
I agree. It is crazy. I've heard whispers. It could be Gonzaga. That could be the partner that might go in with Memphis. I've heard it could be UConn. That means both sports for sure. What? Because you're always plugged in. What kind of rumblings might you hear if there was this expansion? If Memphis was included, you got to have a partner. Who would that partner be?
I think the ideal partner would be UConn because of what they can offer, at least participating in other sports. Gonzaga, they play football. That's been one of the fanciful notions. I guess that would be Mark Few's final act at Gonzaga is to get them in something like the Big 12, one of the great college basketball conferences ever, probably more prestigious than the SEC historically in college basketball. I don't think there's any probably to it. It is. But we'll see. I just don't think next summer can match the volatile nature that last summer had. But we don't need it all over college sports. We just need it right here for Memphis. And they were in last year. That was the heartbreaking part of it until the leadership, the ineptitude displayed by the Pac just to totally lose their entire conference. It torpedoed Memphis.
Yeah, wow. Unintended consequences, you might say. That is exactly what occurred. All right. You saw what Penny has pulled off again. This is pretty amazing. Where would you rate, if Tomlin is indeed the factor a lot of us think he could be, where would you rate him as a recruit coming in, considering what he did last year in the Elite Eight run for Kansas State with the point guard that they had? I was talking with Munzie. Kendrick Davis, it's fair to say he's the best recruit Memphis ever got. I know you can throw in Wiseman, you can throw in Boogie Ellis in that class with Damian Baugh, who went on to play really well at TCU. There's a bunch of guys you could include in that. Duren, I wouldn't count Bates because he didn't stick around. But Duren for sure. Precious Achiuwa is another guy. Where would you put Tomlin?
I put him at the all-time tops. We know what he can do in college basketball. We've seen it. We didn't see any of those other guys play and beat a Kentucky team. They were playing, at the ABCD camp in Las Vegas against, Team Y. That we didn't know what they really could or couldn't do. We know this guy can go. We saw it last year in that Kansas State run, and I look forward to the matchup with the FAU big man that he ran into last year in
Golden.
the tournament. That's going to be good stuff because we don't get many of those aircraft carrier versus aircraft carriers anymore. And I don't know that this is exactly aircraft, but it's as close as we get anymore to those big man matchups. Those two FAU Memphis games, that's going to be something to watch just down in the post.
Just this week, Clemson and Virginia. Can you think of two better teams back-to-back coming in? They're both in the top 25. And with Memphis, where they stand, with a chance, if they can close out these next 4 games, to go 11-2 in conference play with the resume they had. I can't think of a bigger week, honestly, going all the way back to Dana Kirk. I'm not sure there's a bigger week in Memphis regular season college basketball.
It's a really big week in what the Tigers can do, just with a split, but with a sweep, and even being swept is not as damaging because of the win Sunday afternoon.
If there was a split, I think it would be that we were right on with our preseason predictions. I had Memphis 13-3, and I'm almost certain you did in the non-conference.
No. I was 9-4 non-conference. 13 non-conference games. I was 9-4.
I meant 10-3. 10-3 is what I had them. I'm sorry.
I was 9-4. I had Sunday afternoon as a loss, and it was a win. But before that, I'd gotten right on. And for these two, I had in the preseason, I had Clemson. I had this as a split. I'm trying to find exactly where I had my split. No. Preseason, I had both of these as wins. No.
Okay.
But I did have a loss in Oxford.
You did have Memphis losing.
I had a loss
Miss.
at Mizzou,
okay.
and they didn't.
Okay. But you did have them losing at Oxford, right?
I did.
Yeah, that was
because of road game and Chris Beard.
Did you have Ole Miss at 9-0? Because this is an incredible story. I mean, seriously. And true confession, I did not pick the Ole Miss or the SEC in the preseason. I would have said, looking at that schedule, I think I would have had Ole Miss at probably 7-2. They've even won the road game at Orlando against UCF. Close. I mean, as close as you can get. And then the one at Temple.
Coaching matters.
This amazing what he has done. This 9-0 start. Where would you rank that in Ole Miss basketball lore?
Well, he's really off to a good start. Now it's going to settle in when he gets into the conference. I just want 10-8 in conference, and I think that would get them in the tournament. And yesterday, Joe Lunardi, his bracketology had both Ole Miss and Mississippi State in out of 9 SEC teams in the tournament, and does not have Arkansas in.
Wow. Arkansas with a win over Duke too.
Arkansas with a win over Duke, and Arkansas that I picked in the preseason to win it all, not just go to the Final Four. They were my national champion team, and now not even in the tournament. And
I don't think that'll happen. I really don't. I think when you look at that talent with Brazil, who I think that guy is incredible.
I do too.
Then you look at Battle. You look at Mark. Now, I think he's okay, right? He got hurt in the Bahamas, but I believe he's played since that injury. There's a freshman kid who's really good on that team, too. I mean, that Musselman is too good a coach. With that much talent, he's going to make the NCAA tournament.
Think about that. We just rattled off a lot of names, and one we never got to. Chandler Lawson.
Well, we should get to Chandler Lawson because he's played pretty well.
I thought it was a cry of desperation to reach out to him.
Really?
I just don't think he's a very effective player.
Well, he was not an effective player in Memphis. I'm going to give you that one.
Except for the A&M game last year. That was a big game he had last year around this time when they played A&M. Other than that, it's always, you're always kind of left unfulfilled by him.
Here's the thing about him that I was a little surprised at, honestly. The choice of Arkansas. Now, that's an honor to play in that uniform, so I can understand that. A lot of tradition, a lot of history, and Musselman's a great coach, so if he's got confidence in you, that's a big plus. But the system that Musselman plays requires a lot of speed. Mm-hmm. And although Chandler Lawson can jump, if that's what we count as athleticism, he's not a fast-of-foot guy. Those feet are not quick. So I'm not sure this system is perfect for him, but he's getting minutes.
And his first step is glacial.
I don't know. That's pretty good. Glacial. I don't know if it's quite that slow, but it isn't quite as fast
he's
as
not
it needs to be.
Around the cup on the offensive end as Dietrich was. Not even close.
Oh, no. Dietrich is the I guess he's the second oldest. He's the best. KJ was a good player. Dietrich was a great college player.
Yeah, but it was kind of a depreciating value after Dietrich.
Oh, yeah. No, I would definitely agree with that one. All right, I got to ask you, because you texted me several times, the Peach Bowl again, and really what Lane Kiffin has been able to do is pretty phenomenal. a chance for another win. Nobody's ever done that before in Ole Miss lore. And, just since he's gotten there, he's lived up to all the expectations.
Everything.
He truly has. I'm curious to see if the Peach Bowl will be anything like with activities, festivities surrounding the bowl, anything like the Cotton Bowl.
No, nothing rises to that level. Or Rose, Sugar, Cotton, they separate themselves. Peach is really good. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's a little more business-like than those others, but really good and a great stadium and treated very well. Ole Miss played there in 2014. It'll be the third Peach Bowl ever. Played there in 71 at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium and defeated Georgia Tech, and then lost badly to TCU in 2014, and now this one at Mercedes-Benz. So it'll be all three stadiums. And Harry Harrison, the analyst on Ole Miss football, he played in the 71 game, was an announcer for the 2014 game at the Georgia Dome, and now will be the analyst alongside David Kellum for this one. So he will have been at all three Ole Miss Peach Bowls in all three different stadiums.
Wow. Fulton County, Turner, and this one. Are those the three?
Fulton County, Georgia Dome, Mercedes-Benz Dome.
Oh, Georgia Dome. I'm sorry. That's right. Mm-hmm. Forgot about the Georgia Dome. That's where they had the basketball tournament when there was a tornado, right?
When the tornado ripped right over the top of it, and the Georgia Dome was right by the Georgia World Congress Center, which is right by where the new dome is, which is right by the State Farm Arena where the Hawks play. And first time I ever went there, I thought it was the Taj Mahal, just the nicest thing I'd ever seen in my life. The new one blows it away.
They always do.
They always do, don't they? How do they do that?
They absolutely always do that.
And that's what I tell people, Dave. People can't imagine. I mean, Ted Smith Coliseum was very rough, and the pavilion is so much nicer. But what Tad Smith Coliseum replaced in the late '60s was the men's gym.
Taj Mahal, baby.
Was the field? It was the field house.
Hey, bang for buck. The Tad Pad went a long way. It was a good arena for many years. It was just the last 10. It was
like your 16-year-old car. The car you're driving today from Genesis is a lot better than that 16-year-old car.
Ain't no doubt about that. Now, if I recall correctly, you're off the next couple of weeks, so I better wish you happy holidays today.
Thank you, Dave, and same to you and yours. And I'll be away the next 2 Wednesdays, and next time we talk will be 2024.
Wow. Time goes fast, that's for sure.
Does.
Happy holidays to you, your brother, your whole family, my friend.
Thank you. Same to you.
You got it. Thank you. That is Brett Norsworthy, a sweetheart of a guy, perfect for sponsoring our friends at Dinstall's. It's the season for expressing thanks to your clients for their business throughout the year. Let Dinstall's just do that for you. They can create a sweet thank you for you, your clients, and your employees, from assorted chocolates to cashew crunch, Christmas tree pretzels, and turtlettes. Oh, everybody loves the turtlettes. Let Dinstall's take care of all your holiday gift giving. Let me tell you, when they put a package together, you get one of those, you're going, that person really likes me, or that person really appreciates me. They're fantastic. Their packaging, it's amazing. Call today. Let them create a sweet memory for you for the holidays at Laurelwood, Germantown, Collierville, Pleasant View, and downtown. Dinstall's, made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Back in a minute, we'll head to Baton Rouge. Our good friend Ron Higgins is standing by. He is right around the corner.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Experience the taste of Italy at Little Italy's newest location in East Memphis at Massey and Poplar. Little Italy has great Italian food with all your favorite dishes, from lasagna, rigatoni vodka, Alfredo, even lobster ravioli. Try Little Italy's very generous hot calzone, stuffed with your choice of meats and melted cheeses. East Memphis Little Italy wants to spoil you with a piece of Italy you can feel, taste, see, enjoy, and eat. East Memphis Little Italy, hidden in the back at the corner of Massey and Poplar.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
Check. You might already know about the Acura MDX. V6 engine, seat 7. We have an announcement. We swapped that engine with a specially made 3-liter turbo V6, race-tuned the steering and suspension, and for the first time, added Type S performance to an SUV. So we're just gonna drop this right here. The Acura MDX and first ever MDX Type S. Acura, precision crafted performance.
Visit Acura of Memphis to learn more about the Acura MDX and the MDX Type S.
Do you have a game plan for COVID-19? Prescription oral treatments must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms, even if mild. If you have a high risk factor, ask your doctor if treatment is right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Let's head to Baton Rouge. Our SEC historian, one of them anyway, is Ron Higgins. And Ron, you told me something. You've been in this business how many years? 40, 50 years? 50 years probably now.
Probably 40, I guess almost 45 now.
Okay. Yeah. I can remember seeing a 24-0 run, Memphis with Elliot Perry in Freedom Hall in Louisville, leading 24-0, a 24-zip run to start the game. What did you see last night in the women's game with LSU and McNeese State?
You know, every time I think about maybe like retiring, I don't do it because when you go to a game, something's going to happen that maybe you didn't see before. Last night, an LSU number 7 ranked women defending national champions had a 47-0 run.
47? Oh my gosh!
A 30-0 shutout in the second quarter.
Seriously, how many timeouts did the McNeese State coach use to stop a 47-0 run?
I mean, he called a few, and that 47-0 run, it was part of a 56-2 run.
Oh my gosh!
What
was the halftime score? Out of curiosity,
I think LSU was up by let me see, 62-12. Yeah, up by 50.
Wow.
They led at 94 at one point late in the season. I mean, late in the game.
Led by 94.
LSU scored 52 points off 36 McNeese turnovers. So
my God.
LSU played everybody. They played everybody in their bench. They played everybody. They made. But I
guess the next question would be: is why is Kim Mulkey playing this team? What do you get out of that?
It's a state team, and she likes to play state teams to give them guarantees of $20,000-$25,000 to help them with their basketball programs.
Wow.
That's why she does it.
Man,
they played a little bit better non-conference schedule this year than last year. She's like any basketball coach. She's probably going to schedule her team to build toward conference play, and then they played some decent teams. They beat Virginia Tech pretty soundly about a week and a half ago, and beat Virginia. a week before that. So they play some teams.
You have seen a lot of great coaches at LSU. This is obviously very subjective and what we would call, or my friend Brett, who was just on with us, a hard one. But between, who's the old baseball coach? Bregman?
Skip Bertman.
Bertman.
Yeah.
Between Bertman, you covered Ron Polk at LSU too. I mean, at Mississippi State baseball. Between the old baseball coach, between Nick Saban or now Brian Kelly. I know you're not going to say Ed Orgeron.
In the way.
Yeah. Who's the greatest coach? And now Mulkey. You also were there for the Shaq's coach.
Dale Brown.
Dale Brown. Who's the best coach LSU's ever had? All sports.
All sports. Skip Bertman.
You'd have him over Saban?
Yeah, because Skip was there longer.
Yeah.
Skip won 5. He won 5 national titles. He built the program from the ground up when it was basically in the toilet, nothing, and kept it there for a long time and made baseball, along with Ron Polk, a viable sport. Made money.
I agree. They made that a revenue producing sport. Both those guys.
Now if I had to pick the best football coach ever, not just at LSU, I'd say Saban.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think there's any question about that. But
where would you have Kelly?
At LSU, probably I'd probably put him as far as football coach, put him second behind Saban.
Okay.
They're a lot alike. I mean, Kelly hadn't won the national championship, but they're a lot alike in their approach, and they're comfortable in their own skin, but they're a lot alike in their same approach. They really are.
I got to ask you a little bit about SEC basketball, the men's side this time. They're I believe in the newest of the too soon bracketologists. Lenardi has 9 SEC teams in. I want to give you the preseason poll because I think it's interesting. Tennessee to win, and I'd have a hard time arguing with that. A&M is 2, not sure about that one. Arkansas is 3, definitely not sure about that one. Kentucky 4, Alabama 5, Auburn 6, Mississippi State, Florida, Missouri 9, Ole Miss 10. I don't think they're going to finish 10th. Vandy, Georgia, LSU, and South Carolina. How are you going to change that right off? Who's 1? Who would you put as 1 today if you were voting the SEC rankings?
I mean, Tennessee's probably played a better schedule than Ole Miss. I'm thinking right off the bat.
No doubt.
Tennessee, because they're 7-3.
Well, if you just match them up personnel, it's hard to believe that Ole Miss would hang. Now they could win at home because they're not that far removed, and I wouldn't be shocked, if they do play them at the Pavilion that they'd win that game. I'd probably make Tennessee a slight favorite, but in Thompson Bowling, I think Tennessee would be almost a double-digit favorite on Ole Miss.
Well, I agree. But I've been, he knew what type of coach Ole Miss was getting. I mean, they fell into a guy who had a problem, and honestly, they picked up, damaged goods.
That was a break, and I don't know how many ADs would have taken at that particular moment anyway that chance.
Look, Keith Carter has taken,
he took a chance with Kiffin for all that matter.
Oh yeah, the man with the greatest vertical for a Caucasian basketball player in Ole Miss history, Keith Carter, took a huge leap on both those guys.
Yeah,
both of them, and it's paid. Look, that's what you got to do at Ole Miss in Mississippi State. Because look, State hired Ben Howland out, from UCLA. I mean, the guy who really kind of couldn't get a job, but they got him to Starkville. He did well. You've got to take guys who are maybe flawed a little bit in some way, but who are great coaches, and you give them a chance and you get them there, and you hope you keep them for as long as possible. And credit Keith Carter; those are the 2 brilliant hires. And I'm sure he might have to talk some boosters off the ledge or the school administration when he did it, but. I know he does his due diligence. He's a smart guy. He played that way. And honestly, two of the better hires in the past decade in the SEC right there. Same school.
So you where would you put Ole Miss? 9-0. They've squeaked by in Philadelphia against Temple, in Orlando against UCF on the road. Now they have two very impressive home wins. One against NC State where they dominated, and then they pulled one out against the U of M. That might be their best win. Where would you rank them? I guess Kentucky would be 2 at this moment, wouldn't it be?
Well, the Kentucky just lost to somebody they shouldn't have lost to. I mean, who was it?
Well, everybody's lost to somebody they shouldn't lose to, it seems.
But Ole Miss hasn't.
No.
I think Kentucky probably 3. They lost to somebody that they had no business losing to, like this past week. Can't remember who it was, but it wasn't a good thing. Even though Kentucky,
well, they beat Penn this week, 81-66. So that it was not this week that they. Oh, I know you're talking about. They lost the week before that to North Carolina Wilmington by 7.
Yeah, that was it. Okay, so you don't lose to them. You just don't.
Well, they've only lost. They've lost to Kansas, and they've lost to UNC Wilmington. That's hard to believe.
I can understand Kansas. I get that. Well, UNC Wilmington was in Lexington, wasn't it? I think it was Lexington.
I am sure he would not have played UNC Wilmington anywhere else but that. I'm almost certain that was in Lexington.
Okay, so really, there's no excuse for that. So I'll put him 3rd behind Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss has been the surprise of the conference so far. But you got other people's work. I know Memphis just beat Texas A&M, but Texas A&M has really kind of tailed off, and you thought they were going to be really good, and they've lost 3 games now. And I know Memphis handled them. Alabama's lost 3. Everybody's the only thing you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams with 2 losses or less, and Tennessee has 3. So, but 9 teams. I don't know if I see them. And then also,
well, he's got Alabama and Missouri. He's even got Mississippi State in there. You know who he doesn't have in there? He doesn't have Arkansas in there. That was preseason number 3.
Arkansas 6-4. Okay, and they've kind of been up and down. They've been all over the place.
Yeah, they got a win with Duke, and then losses that are crazy. But heck, Mississippi State lost to Southern, for goodness sakes. Everybody has lost except for Ole Miss. Everybody has lost to a team they should not have lost to. Ron, we'll do this again next week. We'll be talking Christmas holidays after that.
All right, Waldo. Well, take care.
You too, my friend. Thank you much. We appreciate it. That's our buddy. That is Ron Higgins, a guy who can appreciate tastes of Memphis, including Grind City Brewing. Oh, yeah, I love talking about Grind City Brewing because it's a taste of Memphis that I appreciate. It's right downtown, that little brewery. Not so little. Just north of downtown with this great picnic area with tents and views of downtown Memphis and of the bridges. And then there's the product. You can go inside, see this modern brewery that is really cool looking. And you can order the Poppy's Pilsner. That's the Pilsner. I call it really Poppy's Pills. Like order 2. You want more? That's the way it works. But it's their number 1 seller. Then there's the Godhopper. That's the pale ale. People rave about that. A couple of other new products that have hit the shelves, as they say. The Belgian-style wheat ale called the Belga. There's the amber lager called Thaddeus. They've even got the old thing that I love. It's got a little more kick. It's a malt liquor. Crafted malt liquor, I should say. Unlike most malt liquors, this thing is incredible. It's called Tiger Tail. You'll love it as well. It's a taste of Memphis. It's Grind City Brewing, taking care of beerness in Memphis for a long time now. That'll be my day. We'll say so long. Johnny Radio is next. We'll see you again bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everybody.